Huge shout out to the sponsors that keep this podcast rolling. First up, we have CTS Media. If your business needs better content, a fresh website, or full service digital marketing, CTS Media has you covered. Photography, videography, social media management, social media creation, Google Ads, Meta Ads, everything your business needs to look legit online, because let's face it, if you're not doing these things, you're falling behind to your competitors in today's world. Check it out at ctsmedia.org, link in description below. Next up, we have Shred It, You're On. They solve the classic problem every rider has. Your action cam blocks your jersey. Their jerseys keep your kit visible on camera and look sick doing it. Grab one at shredityourOn.com. Finally, we have Gutter Getters, your go-to for home maintenance. Whether it's gutter cleaning, roof care, pressure washing, small repairs, deck repairs, they handle it all. Hit the link or give them a call below. All right, what is going on, everybody? Back with another episode of Ridin the Line podcast with your hosts, Ross and Cason. Man, we are here on a early Saturday morning getting this thing done with some coffee, and this is going to be a fun episode. Big shout out to everybody that's been listening lately, as always, and big shout out to our sponsors. I'm sure everybody has noticed our sponsorships, and the shows are getting better and better as far as like production goes, and some sponsorship plugs and whatnot. So I appreciate you guys listening and supporting those sponsors as well. Let's just get right into it, man. No fluff. Ross, we got an awesome guest on the podcast today, one that you and I have both known for quite some time. So who do we got, brother?
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and build the suspense. We're gonna fluff it, because
Easy now,
one,
easy.
I know, I'm gonna do the exact opposite. One, I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, happy holiday season, because man, it's like we talked about, it's the holidays, and we all get to hang out with our friends. So I do want to do that. I know the show's not going to air for a couple more days, but in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I'm really thankful for both of these guys. Thankful for all of our listenership as well. So I hope everybody's doing well. There's the fluff. There, it's gone. So the man, the myth, the legend, a dude that has absolutely taken my riding so far. He's also taken me as a human really, really far. He's stretched me to both ends of my spectrum, man. I have been so frustrated, and I have also like seen like the best human ever out of this one person. So the dynamic range is huge. No, none other than the Quail man himself, Ethan Quehl, man. How you doing, buddy? It's good to see you.
Doing great, man. I can say the same about you, and it seems like the wide spectrum is kind of an ongoing thing with a lot of people. You kind of you gotta have to do the old give and take sometimes. But no, I appreciate the
Right?
kind words, Ross, and I can say the same about you. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
man.
Thanks for having me on too, guys.
Absolutely,
I really
dude.
appreciate it, man. I'm just pretty stoked here to support you guys and love what you guys are doing. So
Hell yeah.
Today's gonna be a good one. Tell us what you've been up to. What's been going down with the Quail man for, I don't know, the past like 6 months, year, 2026, whatever.
man, I've been in the woods. Pretty
Sick.
much day in and day out in the woods. Got a new dirt bike this year that you can kind of see in the background. Been riding that as much as possible.
What'd you
Got
get?
it's a 2025 KTM 300 XCW, and
Okay.
Yeah.
and every time you hop on the bike, it makes it more fun and fun each time. So I'm actually going riding right after this with my dad. So,
Yes.
but yeah, man, just building trails, traveling. Been in Kentucky, Iowa, um, Ohio, just trying to just make things work and happen and build for. I've been able to. This year has been great building for a lot of awesome clients and stuff. Super helpful. Like not a lot of times you get that. But super supportive, super stoked on it, and so yeah, it's just that's pretty much my life anyways. It's just in the woods. I'd rather be in the woods than in a city anywhere. So
I hear you. We had a podcast about that not too long ago. Yeah.
yep.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Yeah, that's pretty much been it for me. Right now I'm at my parents' house and hanging out with them. Got, kind of your intro, it's great to see family that I haven't seen in a while. And um, yeah, just get home and be lazy for a bit. It's been great.
Dude, heck yeah. How long are you staying at home for?
Um, it's to be denounced. Like,
Slow down, dude.
well, it's just one of those things. Like around this time of year, Dave and I like to take some time off and like make sure the crew is, nice and rested and stuff. And so we kind of get to, for the most part, it was pretty relaxed with us.
Yeah.
We try to take the whole week, if not 10 days or so during Thanksgiving. If
Oh,
not
sick.
more, especially because it's weird because my birthday is on the 4th, so it's like that's like next Friday or Saturday or something. So
Yeah, dude. Happy early
so
birthday, man. I
well,
saw that on
appreciate
the
it, man.
calendar
Yeah,
popping up. So heck yeah.
yeah,
How many
yeah,
years
yeah.
young are you?
I am level 3.5 this year. So
Level 3.5. All right,
yeah,
dude. Right on.
yeah. So I'm pretty stoked, man. It's been great. Over the 35 years, I've met great people like y'all, and just through the trials and tribulations of everything, it's been great. And so yeah, so it's kind of one of those things where we try to take off as much as time as we can during the winter months and spend time with family and stuff. Because when the building's good, we gotta hit the ground running best we
Heck
can.
yeah. I know you said you were itching to ride the moto. You got a chance to get out on it? Where you been? What you been doing on it? What do you think of it?
Yeah, actually, man, it was actually great. I got it at KTM World. I think I think it was April or March, April, something.
Yeah.
Um, and rode it a few times on the job in Alabama. We built it Oak Mountain in Alabama,
Oh,
and
sick.
rode a few times there when we were building a jump trail there. It was pretty cool. We were riding in and out of the woods to work. So we
Heck
kind of had
yeah.
to play rock. We had to play rock paper scissors to see who was going to bring the diesel in that day. And who got to ride dirt bikes. So
That's awesome.
um, yeah, and so then after that, I traveled north to Iowa, and actually you would think that Iowa's completely flat. It's got some decent
It's
hills.
got some elevation, man.
It
Yeah.
it does, man. It was kind of funny. Like we brought my buddy Rye out from West Virginia to build some bridges, and he was like, "Where does Ethan have me coming?" He's like, "It's just cornfields. Am I building out here in a maze or something?" And then he just rolled up and like saw the hills we were dealing with. He's like, "Oh, okay, I can work with this," So
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. It was a tough job because it was a lot of it's very sensitive woods, very intricate ways to move dirt materials around, which as any trailblader knows, it can be in sensitive areas. You got to be very careful with the land managers and stuff like that.
Oh,
Um, but man, I went out solo mission a few times, found some cool spots to ride out there, ran into some really cool people, and pretty much got to ride with them like every weekend.
sick.
And they helped took my riding level up because there was really cool. It was flat in areas, but it had its few hill climbs. You definitely rode in the mud out there. We found what they call the pits. It's all sand, so it rained like an inch the night before, and we went out there and it was just hero dirt. Um, but they have a lot of those the cross training stuff, where you go over logs and rocks and like they even had teeter totters and those big tractor tires. So
Like some of
that
that, like
was
kind of hard enduro circus stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was super fun, man. Really good skill building. Um and so then I got to go to the outdoor. I got to go to Millville, and I think that's Minnesota, I believe. And when I say Mount Martin is absolutely no joke, you cannot tell on the TV. They have to groom it with a snowcat. Like you stand by the hill where those guys. It's like this. Like they have to build steps so you can walk up it. It was literally insane just to see what those pros are doing. Like watching. Like I got up to the top and around, and I watched like Deegan and Shimoda and a few other guys come over their first lap where they're just sending all the way down the hill, and like the pass that he made in the race down
Dude,
that hill is
nuts.
insane.
It was
It
nuts.
is insane, and I saw it in person, and I was like, "That I didn't know that was possible."
Yeah, I saw
It's
you
like,
went. I was like, dude, that's so sick.
yeah, man, and it was cool. It's something to experience. It really is. And we, the guys that I met there, in Iowa, we went there and camped, and I got a truck tent and put an air mattress in there. Man, we were set up,
Nice.
and I'm sure maybe y'all saw the story or whatever, but it was cool waking up to like 15 bikes outside, and um, but man, it was cool. We camped like a mile from the racetrack. They were doing night motos. We had the really awesome trails, single track trails to go ride there. Um, and just it was just an amazing experience.
Yeah,
And
I heard the trails there
It's
are actually
killer.
pretty thick.
it was, man. They cut like fresh, like new hard enduro style
Yeah,
trails, and we dabbled a little bit on it. I'm not quite to that level yet, for sure. Buddy Cooper that works with us, he's really good at that.
nice.
So it's cool to watch him do stuff that you're just like, I didn't know that was possible,
Yeah,
and you watch some of the hard enduro guys, and those guys are like aliens. Like I don't,
dude,
I just
even bro, I watched some people like Will Zierden that we just talked to, and he's got to a place where he's now racing A class at Sorks races. He's racing 250A and just won a 250A. But like I was riding with him a few weekends ago, and just like the stuff I'll watch him do, like there's a ginormous log, probably like I can't even show on the camera, but it's probably like 2 feet in diameter, I would say, and it's like probably I would say about 4 feet off the ground, like literally about 4 feet, like up to your belly button. And
Holy crap.
I watched him clutch dump and jump onto this log and like catch his frame,
yeah.
and then like just like hop off of it on his dirt bike. I was like, I was
Bro.
like, bro, what? Because I
Dude, those
come
guys
from, I mean, you and I both, I think, Ethan, I come from riding tracks. I don't know. Yeah, you come from the tracks, right?
Well, I rode a little bit when I
A
was
little bit
younger,
of both.
but mainly the woods when I was
Okay.
training for cross country and downhill and stuff. That was
I
kind of more of my main thing. So
Yeah, so I mean, I come from I've like rode tracks my entire life. That's just I grew up around like the racing portion. I've actually never raced, but I just always rode tracks, and so like the wood stuff is so cool to me now. It's just something, as athletes and enthusiasts, we're always looking for that something like that entices you a little bit more. And now like woods racing is for me. Like I'm ready to like sell the 250F and get a 250FX or a 252 smoke or something and try it. Yeah, I
you need
know,
right
dude.
there.
I got destroyed by all the woods bikes. There actually somebody on a 300 two-stroke while that we were riding out there, and they're just whoa, just lugging. I'm sitting there on the rev limiter, freaking trying to get traction. Oh my god, dude!
The 300s are insane, man. I was between a 150 and 300, and I stole my dad's 300, which is right here. Took it up to Ohio last year and rode it, and I was like, yeah, this is it. That's the ticket. That's the bike. But then you got my other baby over here, my 1980. So it's kind of cool to see that how far bikes have come and stuff, and riders have come. And like to your point of what you're saying before, it's like having something that's enticing again. It's like you get to a certain point in mountain bikes, you're like, yeah, it's fun, but it's like I learn something new every single time I throw a leg over that dirt bike. You know what I mean? Like it's just it creates that want to again. Like I want to go out and ride.
Yeah.
Y'all are gonna put me in debt, bro.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get one, man. I'm telling you, we're going to KTM World and you're buying one.
I know, right, dude?
Dude, I mean,
I want one so bad.
Ross, number one, you need to get one. But yeah, Ethan, with like that, man, I always tell people like motocross and dirt bikes for me is like so like it's such a learning experience. Like every single time I go ride, like because I don't ride that often, because I'm not like I wouldn't call myself very good. Like I'm a decent rider. I can get around a track and I can do jumps and I can flow. And I have decent pace, but I'm not anything special compared to. I feel like I'm pretty good on a mountain bike. Not to toot my own horn,
Yeah.
but it's definitely a different skill level for me. And so anytime I go ride a dirt bike, it's like so new, and every time it's like so new and fresh because I'm like, okay, well today I need to work on my quarter entry speed because I'm getting my doors blown off every time I'm going into a corner, at the practice days. So like just like you're saying, man, it's like it's that new, that fresh, like we're always searching for something. It's that dopamine, baby.
Yep.
Always searching for something new, dude.
Yep.
Like, and so that's like moto for me, and it sounds like it's the same for you.
It is, especially like, it's funny, like, you think that when you become a trail builder, you'd ride your bike all the time. And you like, once you become an operator and you become the foreman and you have all this leadership and responsibilities and stuff, it's like by the end of the day, your mind's cooked. And the last thing you want to do is go look at a bike. But this last job was great because we were building a jump trail and we had to test it. I mean, that's I've made a new rule. Like I can build without testing for the most part because a lot of times we'll have people coming out and riding and stuff. But there it was such an anomaly. Like it was really cool in how it grew that area. But testing and I was like, yes, I still got it. Okay,
Still did
and
it.
yeah, I can still jump. I can still hit these jumps. Um, and it's a great feeling to be able to do that. But at the same time, a lot of times you don't get to ride as much as people would think or test as much because a lot of times you're, down to the wire and trying to just get the trail done because you got a job right behind it. So like when you get a day off, like take the moto and go get 2 or 3 hours of riding in, you know what I mean? And it's what you're saying. It's new, it's fresh, it's like, and yeah, that's exactly why I
Clears
bought
your
it is
mind.
to do that.
It
Yeah, it clears your
also, man,
mind. Yeah.
like maybe it's just me, but if I go ride a mountain bike all day, like I'm tired, right? If I go ride a moto for 3 hours, I feel like I got ran over by a school bus
Yep.
like 5 times. And I can't walk dude, I can't walk straight for like 2 or 3 days. My back's sore, my legs are toast. Like, dude, it's so brutal. Like people like of course most people that are listening to this podcast like pretty much understand, I'm sure, like how difficult muscling around a 250-pound bike is for a couple hours. But man, it is like serious the difference, like to go, especially woods riding, man. It is brutal to muscle around a bike, and I feel trashed after riding for just a few hours.
Yeah,
um
my favorite part is, like, you get back in the truck and you're like, "Yeah, I'm good, I'll be okay," and then, like, you stop at a gas station to get fuel or water, and you step out and you're like, "Oh, ah, I didn't know I had those muscles." Yeah.
yeah.
There that is.
Yep,
Dude,
yeah, so
that's like riding the R6 on whenever I do a track day because I don't
yeah,
film that much, man. You're
right.
just out there wringing the neck of that thing, and you're like halfway through the day, you're like, "Oh yeah, man, I'm all good. I'm fine. I'm be good." And then
Yeah.
like you're God, how many water bottles deep? Like 10 deep, and you're like, "All right, staying hydrated." Like you get your electrolytes, everything. I'm like, "I'll be fine." And then
Yeah,
like you go to like push that 400-pound thing onto the trailer, and everything is just like. You're
yeah.
like, "Oh, there it is."
And for you, it's gotta be more of, like, the G forces and stuff that you're holding in them turns, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just that's gotta that all that is just, just
Well,
kinda cramping you up, so
and one of the things too is, like, when you're on the dirt bikes and mountain bikes, like, you're hip hinging, so you're
Mhm.
kicking the bike over, but you're keeping your upper body, like, straight up, you know? On the moto, you were completely different, so that hip
yeah, and it's
hinge
so weird watching it. It's like, that
is
shouldn't make sense, but it does.
oh, dude. Yeah, you're and, on the dirt bikes, on the mountain bikes, you're, like, I guess
Inside hand, outside peg.
you're
Mhm.
angulating the bike under you, and, yeah, now on the R6, you're literally under the bike. So it's, like,
Yeah,
completely opposite. Yeah, it's a different the waist, man, oh, so bad.
yeah, for
Yeah, I
sure, man.
remember I remember posting. Dirt bikers and motocross riders are so anal about that. I like posted a video of me riding, and it was me like going through a corner, and everybody was like, "Keep those elbows up, man. Keep those elbows up." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, dude, just let me ride, dude." Like, I clearly
Body
don't know what
position,
I'm doing. Like,
BP, baby.
I know what I
Oh,
should be
like
doing, but trust me, I know what I should be doing, but I'm just riding, man.
yeah, and in my racing career, man, like, I was always, going against a bunch of, big, tall guys, you know? And this is back when we were still on 26-inch wheels, so, like, I had to be able to corner, like, that's where I had to be. I had to corner, I had to have perfect form because if I can be an inch lower than them throughout 30 turns,
Ouch.
that could be .01, and that's the difference of winning the race or being 5th or 6th, So, like, to your point, it's like you have to have perfect form, like, keeping the elbows up and stuff, so it's like so I feel you on that, it's tough, like, people just wanna ride, but it's like you also want them to enjoy the ride, it's like you wanna kinda nip those things in the bud immediately. Like I did this a lot in Iowa, like, I didn't even bring a bike, man. They were so freaked out. Like they were like, "How is the builder gonna test? Like, how is he gonna do this?" And then they started riding. They're like, "Ah, he's got this." But it's like, but to the point of it is like I was helping people that were like, I was watching them in the corners and stuff, and they were asking me for tips, and I was like, I kept yelling at them. I was like, "Keep those elbow up,
Elbows out,
knees
baby.
against the seat." You know what I mean? So it's like, but to your point,
It's funny.
it's fun, but I like just helping people become a better rider and corner better because that's where it's at. The most of the other stuff will come, but
Yeah, I mean, that goes
You-
back to the point, though. It's like keeping the elbows up in the corners on the moto and such. It's like exactly what I need to work on because it's like one of those things when I'm learning, it's like that's fun to me is like getting the fundamentals back because
yeah.
like I said, like the fundamentals on me on a mountain bike, I think I got those figured out. Like don't need training wheels anymore, so we're dialed. But the moto, definitely, I think like the fundamentals and stuff, and there's so much technique. Like, I mean, watch Chase Sexton, watch Jet Lawrence. The technique aspect is crazy,
Dude,
bro.
the Lawrence brothers are another level of just watching them, and you're like they're out there riding a mountain bike, and it's insane like how much that correlates between like some people don't think it correlates, but man, it's like your positioning, your elbows up, your knees hugging, like a lot of that stuff correlates, and just understanding speed and lines and stuff like that. Like people probably don't think about, but it helps so much. That's why like the two communities cross train, with both,
Lot.
you know. So, I mean, you look at all the guys that are out road riding or mountain biking, or, I mean, you just saw Deegan playing around on a, freestyle ramp to an airbag. You know what I mean? It's just like you got to keep it fun, but it's like the cross training is insane. Like, I remember when I don't know if you guys know Ben Hobbs, but when I first met
Oh yeah.
him, like he was like super fast on a moto. I think he was a double A in the woods. I think he was on gas when I met him. And man, he started getting it downhill. And it was just a few things that I, was, telling or showing him, and like I kind of like kicked myself in the butt afterwards because I was like, God dang it!
Then
Now
he
he's like
starts going real
he's
fast.
literally on top of the podium everywhere he goes. It's just insane to watch the guy, man. He's a good human, but also like, damn good rider. But I mean, Patty Holloway up in Virginia, like he hopped on it. He was another AA pro. He does the Patty cams for, I think it's one of the outdoor or like the woods racing series, but I don't know if he still does it. But man, just watching the guys transfer over is insane. It really is.
Dude, so I wanna hijack this conversation a little bit if Cason, if you're all right with it.
You're good.
Good?
I did have one more dirt bike thing if I'm allowed to.
Yeah, yo, you're allowed, bro. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
No. So I wanted to ask before we hopped off of it, you're big into the vintage racing. So I wanted
Yep.
to kind of ask like how that got started and like I'm a big fan. I'm friends with, a bunch of those guys that race, Frank Mann and Shane Silvers does it a little bit as well and
Benny Silvers.
it
Yeah, well, Mr.
it's
Silvers.
it's so cool, man. And the bikes you have, like I'm looking at them on my screen right now. Some posts you have your 1980s 125 and stuff, and it's so dope. And it kind of reminds me, like I have a old school retro hardtail that I built, like single track that I ride every now and again with V brakes and stuff. So it kind of reminds me of like another outlet of like when I go ride that 26er with V brakes with like shit suspension. It's like it makes the ride like almost more fun in its aspect because I'm trying not to crash and trying not to fold my rims. But like it's just a whole different riding experience. So I'm sure it's kind of similar when you're riding those. So like kind of tell us a little bit about how you got started in the vintage racing, where that came from, and what you got going on with that now.
Yeah, man. And to your point, like the riding the hardtail, the V brakes, man, it makes you a smooth and better rider. Because then you get in your plush bike and you're like, oh, it's like a couch now. You know what I mean? But how I got started in it is my dad was a pro motocross racer and, traveled the national circuit for a while. And so I think it was probably like I've had this guy for about, I don't want to say like 8 years now. And it's gone through a couple renditions. We've right now sitting over there in the corner is my dad's 400 that he's built to a 425. Over here's a 75 Bultaco Persang 200. And right now he's building a Mako as well. So it's like we just like to do it. My dad loves tinkering. But going to the vintage races, man, is insane. And the people are amazing. The vibe's cool. The track owners tame down the track, and actually at what is that one? It's over in Alabama, Monster Mountain. They have a GP track there that they set up for us when we go race. It's probably one of the favorite ones. And anytime you can get a grass track, phenomenal.
Oh, sick. Yeah.
Even the track at what is the Hall of Fame over
Bristol.
there? Is it Bristol? No, it's in
There-
Alabama.
There's one you guys race at that's like a NASCAR thing. I think.
Yeah,
Sega?
I think it starts with a B. Barber.
Barber.
Yeah, when we
That's
got
what.
Oh,
yeah,
Barber. Okay.
yeah, Barber's got an amazing track for vintage stuff too. But man, yeah, it definitely, to your point, it definitely gives a new perspective of it. Just how much fun the bikes are and like how far they've come. I mean, these things are air cooled, drum brakes. I mean, this one right now is actually a 175. So, right now we're probably going to send it down to Dave Ellis down in Florida. Because we've mated a IT 175 top end to a YZ 125 bottom end, and we're struggling just to get the ignition right. Like, but when it runs, man, it runs like a scalded dog. I mean, it. If we did our calculations correct, I think it was like has just as much horsepower as a 2022 YZ 250F, and it weighs 190 pounds.
That gum.
Cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing will run.
Yeah, so it's been in the process. I mean, we have a whole 125 engine whenever we go to the races. If it does it, I've already grenaded it once because we didn't have the jetting and stuff right. So that was down at Diamond Dawns in Texas. That was a cool race to go to. It was the last one they were going to hold, I guess, ever. But man, yeah, it definitely puts a new perspective, and that's why it's amazing to ride the new bikes and see what it was like. Because even before my 25, I had I think it was a '07 250F with a 290 kit in it, and awesome bike. It was just I'm a short guy, and those things are hard to kick over when it's hot, and you're trying to ride in the mountains, and yeah, it gasses you pretty quick. So having the E button, the lazy button, it's kind of nice.
Best thing is that those new bikes, man. I just sit there and go. Bah, 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 bah.
Yeah, they don't even come with a Kickstarter anymore. It's
Nope.
so weird. I'm like, what happens when the battery dies and you're like in a valley and you have to like push the bike up to get a bump jump going or something,
Bump it,
But,
yeah.
but for the most part, man, yeah, that's how I got into the vintage stuff. It's just something my dad and I do. Whenever I get home, we tinker on some stuff. We'll come down here, have a couple beers and turn music on and um, play some pool while we're working on it or something like that. So, and as I said, the community around the vintage racing is just amazing. We a lot of times we race the SEVMX series or the SSVMX series, which is down in Florida. A couple times we've done the Moto Des States, which is kind of like Des Nations, but it's people from the States. So it's a same format, 3-person team, open MX1, MX2 kind of thing. But it's just cool, man. But the thing is like now, like these bikes are getting so old, people are starting to look at vintage as being like in the 80s and 90s now. Like I think Silvers that we mentioned before, he has like I think it's a 95 or 96 CR.
500
around that area, I believe.
Like 4 or 5.
Beautiful bike. He's done an amazing job, man. I've seen him. I think I actually ran by him one time at Highland, and he was parked with his kids over by the little kids track. And I was like, man, those bikes look amazing. And then I saw a post, and I was like, shit, I should have gone say something, But yeah, man, it's just if you get the chance to do it, like if you want to, you can come with us. We've got bikes.
I'd love, dude. Honestly,
yeah.
I will take you up that. Take you up on that every day, man. I would be so sick, and it's cool. You see Randy Richardson out there, old senior citizen, all the time.
I don't know if I have yet or not. I did. It's so funny. Like I just saw, Jeff Murchison and his kid post up, and we were there the same day at Highland. Me and my dad were riding. I'm pretty sure they passed us. I was like pulled over to the side, and my dad and I were just catching a breather, and they just came running by, and I was like, man, those guys look familiar. They're both on there. I think they both have Starks, and
oh, cool.
So, and
I see them there every time I go.
Yeah, and I was like, dang, man, I wish I'd have known they'd have been there. It's just tough to link up sometimes, and that was kind of a last minute thing. I just got home like the day before from Kentucky, and I was like, hey, Dad, come meet me over at Highland. We're gonna go ride, So,
hell yeah,
it's fun, man.
Also, do you still have any KLX 110s, any pit bikes that you're messing around on, or no?
You want to buy one?
No, I actually just sold mine.
I literally sold mine. Here we
go, dude.
I've got
Every time I have one, I sell it immediately. Like
right over there, it's got the 143 kit in it. It's all the tall suspension, tall bars. It's the L. I mean, it's got all sorts of done stuff to it if you want it.
Dude, that could be a Leah bike, man.
Yeah, I just don't get the chance to ride it much anymore. It's like normally I kept it because when I was in Ohio for a while, we were doing pit bike racing and stuff, so it made sense. Or like going to vintage races, having a pit bike is great to get to and from areas and stuff, but very rarely do I get to like take it anywhere, So,
dude, we got to do a Highland weekend, and I'll still rent something. But dude, bring that for Leah, dude. She'd rip it.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, for
That'd be
sure.
perfect
Like
for her.
that, and they have like 150. I think they have shortened 150s there
Yeah, I
for
saw that.
Leah and stuff. You know what I mean? So I mean, and they have like used bikes for good prices there too. Like there was a Husky 300 TE 300, I believe. Had like 80 hours on it, and I think they were only asking like 6,500 or something.
Not bad. But dude, yeah, we need to get over there and do a weekend for sure.
Yeah, we can get us
But
a
man,
cabin and everything, man. That'd
yeah,
be
dude,
sweet.
get one of the cabins and all that good stuff, dude. I've
Yep.
been doing my research and
Yeah.
I've been itching. But I want to talk a little bit about like your kind of riding career. Like back when you were younger. And because
Easy.
hey,
It's
we
only
were all
3.5.
younger.
It's
Even
only
Cason was
3.5.
younger, man. Um, I'm the oldest one here, so y'all can
I
shut it.
know, but you don't look a day over 30.
I appreciate it, man. Um, but uh, yeah, well, I want to take it back a little bit to kind of like where, like, when you starting to race, all that good stuff, and I don't want to hijack this one, but it's like, man, some of the most fun days that I have had are riding behind. Like, it was you, Missy Giovi, and me, and we were going down like the Western Territory over at Snowshoe, dude, and like, dude, rear tires were going one way, front tires were going the other way,
Missy's going
flannel
through the woods.
flying through the air.
Yeah.
Dude, and it's just slapping into berms, and everyone was just like,
Trying
dude,
to pass each
the
other.
stoke level on, like, dude,
Yeah.
this memory like lives like literally rent free in my head, and just like pops up, dude. And you know, whenever we got down to like Big Ash and like the jump areas and all that good stuff, dude, it's just, yeah, front tires were going down, back tires were coming up, and it was just yeehaw, like Hooten leads the holler, and man, like we were having so much fun out there. And I say this because like as as a trailblazer, but as a rider, dude, like I have got just r- respect and awe, dude. Like seeing some of
Uh,
the stuff that,
you're
and
gonna make
like
me
when we were
blush.
racing enduro, dude, I'm
Yeah.
like E- Ethan's got this at the time. He had this big old pot belly. He's chilling, and then he like
Yep.
over the enduro, like dude, he smokes me by like 20 seconds. I'm like, no, this cannot
It's
happen. I
not
gotta fix
possible.
me, dude.
Hey, I surprised
I'm like,
myself too, you know?
I'm like, he's got momentum for sure. But oh
Yep.
man, not less momentum, right?
Momentum.
Momentum. But yeah, take us back. Tell us like kind of, you know, the levels that you were at, kind of what got you going on the bikes, and then yeah, like that's because there's a lot of history there.
Yeah, man. I've been very thankful to meet people like you and Kason throughout the years, and you know, obviously Mr. Giovi, and um, you know, when I was younger, man, like you know, we didn't really know what to do, so I grew up racing cross country and dirt bikes and stuff, and um, then I got my first downhill bike. Actually, my grandparents helped me out with my first downhill bike. It was
I'm
an
sick.
Iron Horse Yakuza, and
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah,
Iron Horse, let's
yeah,
go,
yeah,
dude.
that was my first bike, man. Got it for like $1,200 or something like that, and um, dad get home after work and we headed to Snowshoe and got up there and I was like, holy crap, I didn't know this, you know, type of stuff even existed, you know, and it kind of ruined it for me because then I'm on a ski lift. And but most of the time, you know, like I wasn't riding the racetrack. And so my dad would have to come to the top of the lift and pull me off and one, make me eat, and two, make me actually go ride on the track. Cause I was a kid from Georgia, you know, and we don't have anything like that, you know, and or we didn't at the time. I mean, we have plenty of stuff in North Georgia now, and Jared's Place and stuff like that, which is amazing to have. And but you know, it was just cool, like how it kind of trickled into. Then I started traveling. Actually, I traveled to Malalis for a while, which was cool. I got to do a whole Northeast tour with them when I was younger, and then turned into I was racing the national circuit with them, and was doing well in the junior class. You know, podium pretty much every weekend, and then came down to Vermont and I won the junior national championship. Actually, I looked it up the other day. I only won by like 0.01. So
What year was this?
2008.
This was
I was
'08. Okay,
18.
cool.
Yeah, so I had
Cool.
literally raced downhill for like a year and a half at this point, you know. And so then I turned pro, and then I guess the housing market, you know, crashed, and so that made everything tough for everybody. But then it was cool. I got picked up by a few teams and did pretty well over the years. You know, and here and there. Got to be on Team America for 3 years, which was an amazing time. Got to go to South America 3 times, meet a lot of great people down there. I rode for pretty much all the major companies, and then a lot of people, I like to say it's more of like I did it for the people, like you and everyone else. So, it's like the home crowd. I'd be at races out in Washington, and I'd be in the top 10 or whatever at the Pro GRTs, and it was funny, man. I was like, there would be a crowd around the result sheet. I'm like, you'd see all these like people from up north and whatever, and then you see Grayson, Georgia, and I was like,
hell yeah,
Georgia? There's no mountains in Georgia, and people would turn around and just start laughing, and it was just kind of cool to kind of represent the Southeast and show that it can be done, so like trying to, that was a big thing for me is the motivator is, I mean, you got your, amazing other people that have pushed forward, like Chuck Pitts and stuff like that, like that have definitely shown, and like you, Cason, everyone is, definitely pushed the envelope. But I mean, now you look at it, it's like just having someone to kind of push through that first initial layer and show that, hey man, there's stuff here in the Southeast that should be recognized. I mean, we had TTC in Windrock that was unheard of for a while, and that was a kind of a like a really cool thing to have, to training. And like, I remember I would call Troy and be like, hey man, I'm coming up. Is that cool? He's like, and he'd put me up in one of those little cabins and I'd hang out with the Mises. And, but then I would go and, like, I didn't have anyone to shuttle me, so I'd go push the hill and earn my runs, and that's how I trained. And because I didn't really know, too much what to do. There wasn't really anyone, at the time at least. And but now you look at it and it's like you got Nico, Luca, Dakota. You've got all sorts of people that, I'm probably missing some names that are, living in the Southeast now. I mean, look at, what is it, Canuga and
I mean, hell, look at Aaron Gwen, dude.
Yeah,
Gwen,
bought Windrock.
Like,
you know what I mean?
There's a big name.
Like, yeah, and it just goes to show is just, I like to think that, in some way I helped, kind of push that envelope. I had a lot of help along the way. If it weren't for a lot of people, like even Dave Huff that, I work with, like if it weren't from him at a lot of times, I probably would have made it. There's a lot of people that definitely helped. There's people that literally just saw me and like, I'd be in the pits with a broken leg and doing everyone's suspension for them. And they're like, oh, I owe you a beer. And next thing you know, I'm like on crutches and people having to carry me in because, like by that time they've already given me like 10 beers. And I'm like, nah, man, they'd come back like, man, I had the best run because you set up my suspension, and like, at that time I was young and I didn't really know, how much that probably meant to somebody, it's like how it really changed their riding style or their enjoyment for what we enjoy so much. Or like in the pits, man, I'd just be handing people tires because at the time I was being, like I was R&D and some stuff for Specialized tires. And like at the time at Snowshoe, I'd walk in with handfuls of tires I was like, you need to put these on the rental bikes. It's like nothing against at the time. The budget was small, but I did everything I could to kind of help the sport along and help people become better and enjoy better what I've, always enjoyed my entire life. And so it was amazing, man. And the people were amazing and they were always behind me no matter what. And people even sponsored me out of their back pocket, man. They just came out and said, Ethan, we want to give you a chance. Factories were turning me down, obviously, because I'll admit it, I had some habits, I like to hang out and like I looked at it more of like if I was going to sponsor somebody, I'd want somebody that's like in the pits with them and helping them with the product, and it's showing them like
you want them to be there with you, and it's about that. It's about that FaceTime, and it's about that support.
Exactly.
And
it's like
that's your thing. Yeah, no, I get that.
What product is someone going to buy? It's someone that's not going to talk to you, or someone that is there talking to you, helping you, showing you, like all this other stuff. I mean, that's kind of more of the way I lean towards, maybe it wasn't the greatest platform to do, but I thought it was right, and that's just how I've always been. And, you guys know that. And, but it's just like, then I finally like, it's actually funny. Doug Tate, he's a judge out of Indiana, and Chain Smoke Racing, they were a huge team at the time and they really helped me out a lot and I couldn't have done it without them. But, I broke my leg the first year, at Massanutten, and that was rough. And then I tried to come back for nationals the next year and I was racing slalom and I kind of dabbed my foot And I went and I put 2 metal tire irons and taped it around my leg, took 2 ibuprofens and a shot of Patron, trying to get back out. And I had no quit, man. It was just like, I'm pretty sure at one time when I was a junior, I raced with 2 fractured arms because I had them so taped up. The starter had to put my goggles on for me, and I still came down in third. You know what I mean? So it was just
You're a
being from Georgia,
wildebeest,
like,
bro.
well, you just had to be. Like, it was like, what am I gonna do? I'm like 15 hours away from home, and I don't have a choice. Like, if I don't make it, like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of times in the pro cranks, like, if I didn't podium or win, I wasn't making it to the gas station. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that's how it was. Like, I just didn't have a choice, you know? And so that's why I tried. And I remember pushing up the top of the hill, and I had my goggles on, and Nico could see, and he was like, "Man, you're just not ready." So I turned around
You're not
and
there, yeah.
quit that day, but I came back the next year. I was not going to be defeated, but my bike did win a national championship that year. Mark Poor won I think it was his 60 plus at Beach Mountain.
Mark
So my
Poor?
bike was a national champion. Yeah, he was a national champion on my bike.
Dude, shout out
Yeah.
Mark Poor.
Yeah, I know, man.
Those
OG.
folks that don't know him, this guy is a
Yeah.
snowshoe legend, man. He's got Mark Poor photography up there. He's got a ton of photography all over like the different bars and everything up there. He's this old white haired dude, and he's just got this little like shit-eating grin of a smile, man. You know
Yep.
that guy is down to have some good times. That's really cool because I've always known him as the photographer. I knew he rode, but I didn't know that he won on your bike, man. That's killer.
Yeah, man. That's something so that's something that a lot of people know, and I was pretty proud of, you know. And so the next year I came back, and I had trained all winter. My leg was healthy. And Chain Smoke Racing, and I mean, Doug Tate, everyone that was behind me, like, was behind me, you know, and that was like the support I needed, and I had focused really hard. And I'm really bummed because I did come down. I qualified 4th, and I was only I don't know how many, a few seconds off of Gwen and all of them. But I didn't triple double out of the woods, and there was only a handful of us doing the double after the triple, which was at that time had the roller to rock drop to the ski slope. And I really wish I would have done that, because I think I would have probably been further up, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
and the next day, come race day, like, I was super pumped. People are like, "Hey man, there's a lot of fast racers behind you." I'm like, "Yeah, cool." You know, and I'm out there pushing Chuck Pitt's bike up the slalom. What are you guys doing? You know what I mean? Like I'm out here helping people and showing, you know, like, the true love of the sport is, you know, mountain bikers help people, you know, and like, I'm here to race. Yeah, maybe that wasn't the smartest move, but you know what? I was helping him accomplish what he needed to, you know?
Yeah.
And like, it's just there's so much help that he'd given me through the life. And so next day, I didn't realize this until seeing Doug again, like, a few years later, is during warm up, they were shutting the lifts down. So like, my dad had to go down with the trainer, and we had timed it just correctly where I needed to be. And I mean, I'm up there with Gwen, Nico, you know, Strobel, you know, all pretty big names.
Yep.
And I was like, man, this is cool, you know, like, little boy from Georgia is up here with these big names, you know what I mean? Throwing it down for the people. And so come to find out, I totally forgot that someone crashed really bad in front of me, in front of us, and so it held the race. And I'm pretty like, I tried to keep warm, but it just, yeah. So I dropped in a little bit cold, and man, it's funny, like, it was really cool for Free Hub to do an article on me, and like, literally in one of the pictures is right where I messed up.
All right, quick break. Huge shout out to the sponsors that keep this podcast rolling. First up, we have CTS Media. If your business needs better content, a fresh website, or full service digital marketing, CTS Media has you covered. Photography, videography, social media management, social media creation, Google Ads, Meta Ads, everything your business needs to look legit online, because let's face it, if you're not doing these things, you're falling behind to your competitors in today's world. Check it out at ctsmedia.org, link in description below. Next up, we have Shred It, You're On. They solve the classic problem every rider has. Your action cam blocks your jersey. Their jerseys keep your kit visible on camera and look sick doing it. Grab one at shreadityouron.com. Finally, we have Gutter Getters, your go-to for home maintenance. Whether it's gutter cleaning, roof care, pressure washing, small repairs, deck repairs, they handle it all. Hit the link or give them a call below. All right. Thank you guys. Back to the podcast.
Oh, wow.
Because it was right after the rock garden, the step on rock, step off or whatever. Right there, I slid on that step on rock, and I'm like super close to the camera in the picture. And right there's where because the whole next section was a momentum section, and like I really needed that to kind of pump through and carry, and I had to pedal through it and pump and pump and pump, and then I tripled, doubled, and I did everything I could towards the bottom. And but man, it was so cool for my dad to see around, and they're like, he's gonna do it, and I shouldn't have made the other mistake because I was trying to keep time, and I made the inside turn. And so I should have just railed the berm because I slid out and then had to regain speed again. But I came down 9th. Not a terrible showing for I was the top privateer. And with all of those going behind and everyone was cheering, and my dad got to see it, like the people's champ, and everyone was like, who is this? All the factory riders like, who the fuck is this kid? Yeah, like who? And so it's been an amazing experience, man. A lot of people have been super supportive. I could have made some different changes, but I don't, or decisions, I probably wouldn't change it for the world, though. Like the amount of people that I got to meet and help and stuff like that, like it is what it is, man. And it's formed me into the trailblazer I am today.
Well, speaking of, perfect segue.
Favorite,
yeah, dude. Favorite racetrack, man. What was your favorite track that you ever rode while you were racing?
Port Angeles, I would have to say that was probably one of my most fun tracks, because it was super moto style, and there's some big moves that you had to make, and you had like a rut to land into, and it was pretty sketchy moves. Super loamy. Didn't matter if it was wet or dry; it still had grip. Plattekill, Blue Mountain, and then probably the TTC track. Then the before the renditions happened was pretty sweet.
Which one? Like Trail 6, Trail 5, Trail 7?
So the one that's out of Troy's backyard, but I think they've changed the bottom of it now.
Yeah.
I think Sean Leader and people built that, and I thought that was like how they did it. I think was a great racetrack because it didn't. There was some pedal in it, but it really showed more of like who could corner, who could handle gnarly speed, steeps, rock gaps.
Did that one have the rock drop to the like G out at the bottom?
Yes.
Yeah, dude, that thing was.
Cason, have you ridden that? A-frame rock and then came around and rock drop.
Trail? Sorry.
It's TTC.
It's TTC.
It's like trails. I think it's like Trail 7.
No, I've never been to TTC.
Oh, dude, there's this like 7-foot tall, like it's like 45-degree angle up. Maybe not quite 45, but it's a pretty, like you come through this corner like over the top of this knoll, and then you're like, oh, that rock is like vertical. You hit that, and then it just drops you into this G out, and like
dude, that sounds sketchy.
It is.
It's gnarly, dude. It's like
it was a fun move though.
It's like Typhoon at Big Creek, like the rock drop that you do in the Quick 6. It's like that, but like on steroids.
Like a wall.
Yeah, dude. There's like a ladder off the back of it that just in case something goes wrong and you need it, like it's there. But yeah, that was a really TTC stuff was sketchy, rocky, and it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've seen some
stuff.
Yeah,
I've seen some dirt bike racing there. I've never been, but dude, the stuff they take dirt bikes up there is wild. So I can't imagine.
Yeah, we got down it.
Yeah, I can't imagine what the mountain bike trails are like wild.
Well,
I did.
Go ahead,
Ethan. This whole time I've been staring at your racing results that go back all the way since 2008, and you still have results even in 2024. This is like pretty crazy. I didn't know your racing career was this in depth, and like you have a good amount of wins and podiums on here. But really, honestly, what stands out to me is the amount of different sponsors you've had over the years, the amount of different bikes that you've been able to ride, and also like the amount of places you've rode is crazy. And I wanted to ask, like, you have a lot of races here, like early on, that are in the Northeast, like Pennsylvania and up in Virginia and New Jersey. And so like what kind of made you get up there, and like what made you stick? How come you did so many races in the Northeast? I mean, it's beautiful up there, but you did a whole lot of them, and you did pretty well at a lot of them as well early on.
Yeah, man, I was as I said, I was chasing my pro career coming right out of the bat, and um I think Giant was my first one. Trek was probably my favorite. The Specialized was a great bike, but I think the Trek really kind of helped my riding style. How it was playful, bottomless feeling. It was just an amazing bike, and the early ones is and then probably like the early like 9, 10 area is probably when I was traveling with the Malalis, because
Okay.
that's where they lived.
They were Pennsylvania
And
based, right?
then yeah, and
Yeah.
so then like when I went to school at Lindsey Wilson, trained there, had really good training session that year, and I had one of my best years. Actually, I had one of my best years when I didn't even touch a mountain bike through the winter. I rode 20-inch throughout the winter. Made me so much more precise and, pumping and, just obviously I rode my mountain bike for like endurance training and sprint training and stuff. Um, but yeah, I had a really good time in that area because I also started building trails at Snowshoe. I was at a snowshoe race. I think I came down and I got second. And they had a trail opening job on the hand crew. So it was so cool, man. I was like this kid from Georgia where it all started. I won the Full Throttle series there when I was younger, on my Yarn Who's Yakuza. And, like it was a pretty cool accomplishment for me. And then, when they had the trail building open, it was like, yeah, I was like $8 an hour. Hell yeah. Like I'll take that, like I don't have to, that takes 8 hours out of my drive, and for this racing career. And then like, we'd work 410s. I would do the extra 12, 14-hour drive, and I would stay with Jason Mumlar or Dennis Yurshak or
Shack, yeah.
yeah, or Yurshak, and then I'm forgetting it. It starts with an M. We called him. It starts with an M. Anyways, he's another teammate. Sorry if I missed your name. I'll think of it in a little bit. But a lot of those guys really helped where I could stay and travel with them, and
So it
so
kind of
that's why
puts
I was
you
able
up
to
in the
race alone.
Northeast. Yeah.
Yep.
Just lets you kind of stay up
So
there. Okay.
And that's where a lot of the top races were, like the Pro GRTs, I forget what it's called then. But like a few of the nationals were up there. I got to race the World Cup track at Wyndham, which I think is another one of my favorites.
Nice.
Because it's just fast, gnarly, and like I've got a story about that. I don't know how much time we have, but I can tell you all sorts of stories. Um, but yeah, man, thanks for looking that up. It's cool to know that it's still out there and showing that the work was put in, and that's what I mean. I like to think that I tried to help at least push the Southeast to maybe where it's at now, or at least had some part in it.
Yeah, you had
Definitely had a part. Yeah.
I would say you'd had a big part in it, and especially like I'm a bit younger than you guys, not too much, but a little bit, and like I was grateful enough, I'll say, to like very quickly be around people like yourself, and you like not to make you blush again, but you like I mean, like, dude, seriously, like even when I was like, I've known you for quite some time here and there. Like we haven't been, I would say, like best friends. Like we haven't been super close, but like we've always acted like best.
But weirdly enough, we run into
We
each
run
other
into each other
everywhere.
everywhere, dude. Like
Supercross, soccer games, like it's like
dude, I see you all the time and out of the blue, but like from the beginning, you just always acted like even when we were strangers, like you just acted like you were my best friend from the beginning. Like, and that's why I've always known you. Anytime you see me out in public, it's like, Cason, and then dude, you give me a big hug, and dude, I'm like always like super stoked to see you, whether it's at a supercross race or. But where I was getting at is like growing up, like starting to race just for fun. I wasn't gonna be pro or anything. I didn't have plans to or the ambitions that you did, but I was just doing local races, and you were one of those guys, and Ben Hobbs too, like racing with Ben and yourself and all of those guys. I'm probably missing a whole lot of them, but just like we're huge local inspirations to me of like, man, these guys are sick. Like they always have great attitudes and, kind of showing me the way. Even, Ben's another great example that has always acted like a best friend to me, always tried to help me out in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And, so when I was 13, 14, 15 years old, racing at Big Creek and going up to West Virginia or whatever it was, and racing in Young Harris with Ben when it's pouring down rain, and like just partying and barely making it down the mountain. Like, those are some awesome memories, dude. And I remember waking up that morning. I don't remember what year it was, racing Rock Crusher, and it was just like, dude, like,
I remember that
Dude,
one very good.
dude, oh
I
my
don't remember
gosh.
that one.
We stayed up like all night long. It was like thunderstorms, like damn near tornado all night, dude. Like, our tents are flying everywhere and everybody's just partying. And I wake up the next morning and I'm just like, dude, do we seriously have to race? Like, are you kidding me? And dude, everything's just a mud fest. And I was like, God, this is like, and that was like my entrance into like enduro racing, the Southeast, and just like, yeah, dude. So thank you for always being a good friend and like showing me the cycling community and being a part of that. Um, I had another question on your results here. I see you had Kavachi as a sponsor, which I assume is Kavachi Wheels.
John Cavacci, my
Yeah,
pig's heart.
very cool, man. Because
Very,
working at Free Flight, I had the opportunity to learn and yeah, get to know them. And Kavachi was a big part of the BMX scene with Free Flight as well. So that's really cool how you had that sponsor. So if you could like quickly tell me like how you got to know them and how you got hooked up with Kavachi.
and what a great human. As I said, I've been blessed to be with a lot of different people like him in the industry, and man, yeah, just watching him build a wheel set is insane. Like, the way he does it, he cuts every spoke to the perfect length and tightens it, and then takes it over into the other part of his basement, and he goes and walks on it. And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that you could do that," And it's like then you can just hear it ping, 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 and then he puts it back on the churn stand and then just tightens it all back up. Man, I think I broke one spoke on my dirt jumper out of the, I don't know how many years I had it,
That's
and that was because
incredible.
I was at Rocky Knob doing the pump track series, and I went and rode one of their downhill trails on it, and I did the rock drop, and it just broke a spoke. And I was just watching him and how he did things, how he took care of people. To segue into that, it was through Chuck Pitts when I was on the Two Little Freaks team. Like, we got through. He hooked us up with Profile and John Cavacci and stuff like that, and the support that Profile gave us was insane. I didn't know at the time, man. It's just being a racer on a budget kind of thing is what I was saying. A lot of times, if I didn't get on the podium, I wasn't making it somewhere. At Platikill, they messed up my time, and I had to do a second run, and I was kind of bummed because I came down and I got second by like 0.03 or something like that, and I was on point to win that day. I remember they put the camera in my face and they're like, "Hey, tell us your name, where you're from, and how you feeling today?" And I was like, "My name's Ethan Quehl. I'm from Georgia, and I'm gonna win today." And like that's how confident I was, man. I was
Yeah.
like I wasn't trying to be cocky or anything, but I answered his question straight up, and it never got put in the video, but it was pretty funny. I came down in my second run and I was like, he cut me a check, and I was like, dude, I don't have enough gas to get to the gas station. So I went up to Lars and I was like, hey man, look, like your timing system kind of messed up, and nothing against him, man. It was a new timing system. Like Lars is a great person, and he was super helpful. And he's like, "Hey, man, just hand me the check," and he gave me cash, and I was, a little bit of fuel from one of his cans or whatever. But yeah, I got to the
Yeah.
gas station, got home. But through that to the point of Kavachi and stuff, like up in that area, like dude, whenever the Profile truck was there, they were there to help, and like I was not having a lot of money, like they would just say like, "Hey, what bike you building?" And this and that. Next thing you know, like hubs, cranks, everything that Profile makes shows up in my front door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like amazing support through Profile and through John Cavacci. He built all my wheels. Because at the time, man, like when I was racing for the Hayes, Manitou, Sunringle group or whatever, and I
Yeah.
think that covers it all. Um, but all I was doing is just paying for shipping for rims. And like, so I would just have them shipped to Cavacci's house, and Profile would have hubs there for me. And um, like, dude, it was an amazing setup, and I'd come home and hand them off the ones that I've blew up and pick up my new ones, and like, yeah, couldn't have done it without him. He's an amazing human, through the BMX world, rest in peace for sure. But he was living on borrowed time, man. That's a lot of people knew him as Pig's Heart because he had a heart transplant, and
Oh wow.
but yeah, so yeah, did everything out of his basement, man. He did everything. He was a big name in BMX for a long time. Met a lot of people through him. Even when I was in college and Lindsey Wilson, a lot of those guys there were big BMX racers, and they even knew him. So, but yeah, that's pretty much how it segues. Is really comes from Chuck Pitts. It's just a legend, in the Southeast, and I can't tell you how many people he's helped, and indirectly or directly, So, he's definitely he kind of showed me more of like how I should have, how I should be throughout the ranks, and that's kind of just respect your elders, treat everyone like, how you want to be treated. And we're all in this together,
Little
so that's,
little spirit guide for you.
yeah, man. It showed me that to be a pro, you don't have to be a dick. You know what I mean?
Dude,
Like,
we're making stickers. We're making
yeah,
stickers, riding the line
like,
stickers. Be a pro.
yeah,
You don't
man.
have
It's
to be
just,
a dick, dude. That's good.
yeah, like it's just, I didn't really, I didn't hang out with the pros. I think the only one I got along with was Garrett Baytag or Baytaw. And, once again, an awesome person, man. And him and I would shoot the shit all the time, but we were super competitive. And, man, he'd one up me one time and I'd one up him the next, or he'd get me because I didn't see the line that was not taped or something, and like he'd get me or something like that. And man, we just had banter. And I remember when the top of Windmill was being first hand cut, like this is before machine showed up and it was all hand cut still. And him and I were up there training in the rain one day, and we were just riding off camber, slipping and sliding together and just having a ball, and at races, we'd ride together. And like he was probably the only one that I could kind of still be competitive and still shoot the shit with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A few others were pretty cool, but they just kind of stuck to themselves, and I was like, man, that's just not how I'm gonna be. That just doesn't make sense to me.
Well,
So I
I'm
don't
gonna
think it.
steer
Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna steer the coil bus. We're gonna
Yeah,
do some moving and shaking, man. I was gonna say too. I was like, man, we gotta when you do an interview, if we get you before noon, dude, like I'll start to see Quail like shiny object, like trailing off a little bit, going over here or going over there. But dude, I'm super impressed today. Like we get you with some coffee in you, you actually come full circle. I was like, no shit. Um, he actually came
well,
back to his point because usually, I
yeah,
mean,
I mean,
you just fly off left field, dude.
and
Like,
then I forget where I'm going with it, but no, I've been, I've been,
No, we've been killing it, dude.
yeah, I've
this
been
is
doing pretty good
awesome.
on. I've been trying the Rise coffee stuff now, and just trying to do better health wise.
I got the mushroom
Like,
coffee too, man. It's
yeah,
good, man.
it
I
is, it
enjoy it.
is, and yeah, and it helps. It's just like I'm tired. I was tired of feeling that crap all the time. So
Yeah.
I've been doing the dose stuff, the rise stuff, and I'll do some other minerals here coming up soon. Um,
Well,
but
quit
yeah,
putting
man, like I
whiskey in your
just,
coffee, and then you'll be doing better.
yeah, right. No, because I'm going to ride
um,
dirt bikes after this. So
There you go. Well, I really and something that I want to transition to that we actually had a little bit of a phone call about because this is I can tell it's really close to Ethan's heart. Is kind of like stewardship in trail building. And we this is something that Ethan obviously is a trail builder, so he's been doing this stuff for a long time, and we were kind of chatting about I think as mountain bikers, and especially trail builders, like we have a tendency to get out into the woods. We do this awesome stuff, um, but not necessarily always do we like televise it, right? Do we syndicate it? Do we put it out there? And a lot of times it can be misunderstood what we're doing. If we're doing work out in the woods, hey, we're damaging the woods, right? Not necessarily how it always is. So I know I want to let Ethan let you kind of kick it off, because I know we chatted about it with like how diverse your trail building portfolio is. You've pretty much been damn near coast to coast, building trails and dealing with land management, dealing also with funding, and a lot of that stuff. So as like, and it's crazy. I think trail building is like now like a, as you were saying, it's like almost like a college credit kind of thing. Like that's started like to become like a mainstream like career, something that you can actually develop a career in. So kind of take it away, man. Talk about what's important to you and getting the word out with what we're doing, mountain biking and trail building. Yeah.
I want to
Yeah,
hold
man.
on. I want to hype him
All
up.
right.
I want to hype him up very fast on
Yeah.
this topic
Yeah.
because if anybody has road trail, especially in the Southeast, the chances of you riding dirt that's been moved by Ethan Quehl is ginormous. So I just want to put
Yes.
that out there for our viewers. If you've rode trails, especially in the Southeast, chances are Ethan Quehl has touched it. This guy is a legend as far as trail building goes. A lot of the stuff that I grew up riding, Blankets Creek, Quell Holler is one of the
Well,
biggest.
holler.
There's a reason it's named Quell Holler. Uh, any stuff at Big Creek and all across the nation, like Ross said. So I just want to hype you up really quick to our viewers, man. Like the chances of you guys, if you've road trail, the dirt has probably, there's a chance been moved by Ethan Quell. So a
Yeah.
big legend in the trail bending community, especially down here.
Take it away.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, man, that was the other thing. I guess it kind of all starts. Let me give you a little backstory. Is when I did get the trail building job at Snowshoe, I was stoked, and they're like, "Yeah, just call this number, and they'll give you a raise." And I was like, "Yeah, cool." All right. I was like, "I'm on the trail builder, or crew," and they're like, "All right, cool. You get 8.25 now." And I was like, "Sweet, a quarter raise, sweet." And man, it was really
That sounds
cool.
like corporate world now, dude.
Oh man, it was
You
well
get
for
a
me at
dollar.
19 years old, like I think rent was like $250 a month or something like that. And, I got to be based at a mountain where I could train and ride. And, there's a trail there that was called 10 Gallon, and
Yeah.
pretty sure name in itself, I was driving the truck down to the bottom of the hill, filling it up with a shovel, bringing the truck back up the hill, and had a couple 5-gallon buckets. And I was walking down the trail and just getting my workout in, and putting chert down. And I'm pretty sure it was called 10 Gallon before that, but I want to think that I was the one that made it called that. But so yeah, and then like I started fast forward a little bit. They were leaving for Whistler, and they were putting me in the machine. Like I would eat my lunch, and then during their lunch, they'd put me in the machine and start teaching me. And so then they left, and they basically like knew how to mess with me, I guess, because they knew how competitive I was. And they're like, "Yeah, we bet you won't make it past such and such," And I'm like, "All right, game on." And so I made it probably twice or three times as far as they thought I would. And I had some cool features in there, man. I still to this day want to build one. It was a dirt lip rock top, and then I found this rock that had this like 2-inch rock on it, and I turned it into the lander. And then it was this cool like uphill turn into a camel hump. It all got changed, but I know where it's at. But yeah, so fast forward a little bit, I met Jeff Plyler, Wes Plyler, and a few other guys, Mark Hyming, Jay Wilkes, a few other guys
Wow.
that were involved there at Big Creek, not Big Creek, but and Canton, at Blankets. And man, they were like, "Hey, yeah, come down this winter." And not a lot of people know the backstory of Quail Holler, and I thought it was amazing what they did. Um, I was driving an hour and a half each way. All I did it was for fuel, and they were feeding me green monsters, and Papa John's. Not Papa John's. It was Little Caesars. And
Hey,
so that's how I
I'm ready.
built. That's how I built. And then at the end of it, like my parents kept saying, I was like, "Dude, that's not what you should be doing. You're not making any money at it." And I was like, "No, I have a feeling here. There's something about this that I can bring to the Southeast." Like it continues on with what we've talked about before of just trying to push through that first threshold and bring something here for it, And they gave me the opportunity to build it, and I wasn't expecting anything out of it. I just wanted to have something cool for everyone to ride. And So at the end of it was pretty cool. I forget I think it was Scott. He had taken this piece of wood and carved in Quail Holler, because they were going to call it the Holler, but then they ended up naming it after me with the spelling of my last name. And I was like, and they just took a sheet off of it, and I thought it was a really cool presentation. And I was blown away by it. And then I didn't get to ride it, and then fast forward, the next year or like following years when I broke my leg, and I got to come down and see the grand opening of it, and just see the amount of people that it impacted was amazing, and I think there's still videos up somewhere. Like there's a father and son, I forget his name, but he was just helping us at Big Creek when we did Hollywood. And sorry if I forgot your name right now, but talking about you and your son, he was a little child, like 4 years old, riding behind him. And then he has like one that's like fast forward 10 years, and he's like now the kid's right in front of him and hitting the jumps. So it was pretty cool, man. And it's been, at that time, I didn't know a lot about drainage and stuff. So it was kind of cool. I really
Well,
wanted to come back and show more what I learned over time, but it went through a lot of renditions and and stuff like that, and I think it's definitely progressed a lot of people, and I think the progression
yeah.
was good there.
Ethan,
But
what year was this? Like, what time frame was all this?
must have been 2010, 2011
Yeah,
area,
I'd say
something like
that's
that, I
definitely 10,
believe.
yeah.
It might have been a jump jam that I came back to. I don't know if it was the official grand opening, but I never got to ride it until I had my 21st birthday at Windrock with Doug and all those guys, and that was an interesting one. The bill was
You
pretty long,
don't say.
and I had to hit the Hardee's and get some hash browns in me, and so I
Grease.
drove home, and I was like, you know
Soak it
what?
up a little bit. Soak it up.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I'm on my way home. I might as well just stop in and ride the hauler. And I finally rode it, and I was like, oh, all right, this is pretty cool. Um, but to your point of like the stewardship and stuff like that, if it weren't people like that were progressive enough to bring something like that, especially in a core of an engineer's property, um,
Yeah.
and so to give back something like that, it was really cool, and have the opportunity to do that was amazing. And they had me redo Van Michael, I guess 2.0. It was very hypersensitive because it was core properties. So that
Yeah.
was kind of my first kind of real experience with dealing with fragile woods. And so I mean, it wasn't the best first rendition of it, but I think Barry Smith and TJ and a few other people have gone out there and
Yeah.
done a few things since then. But anyway, so fast forward a little bit, then I get a job working for EMBA at Coldwater, and at this
Okay.
point, I don't know much about like I know about borrow pitting, but I don't know how about closing them up or using sumps for pipes and stuff like that. And they brought me over and they started me out on hand crew, and they kept saying like, hey, there's a machine just sitting there. I was like, hey man, you got an operator right here, but they made me earn it, and that was cool. I learned a lot on the
That's
ground,
cool.
and I learned a lot about sustainability, rock work. I got to work alongside Joey Klein and Rich Edwards, which is amazing. Two legends in trail building, I believe. It's an amazing how they do rock work. It's insane. Um, but so
Now, was this when
that's
they
kind of
were
where
building? Was this when they were building like Bomb Dog and stuff like that, or is this before that?
Bomb Dog had already been built. We built
Okay.
the rest of the climbing trail up to it, so it
Okay.
got you off the fire road. And then for the longest time I had the King of the Mountain on Bomb Dog until I talked shit to Chris Wyatt, and then he beat me by like 15 seconds.
Dude, that guy's a
But
madman.
he is. But I will say I did it after work in my work clothes, so I'll say I got a little bit of handicap there, but
You still in second?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it in years. I'm sure I've been beaten quite a few times, but
Yeah.
I was pretty proud of it for a couple of years. But anyway, so that just kind of segues what we were saying before, is just that was kind of my first sustainability learning. That's where I learned that. Got my own certifications there, and then off and on had trails here and there that I built, and got the opportunity at Alatuna, um, which was cool. I think they call it, was it MoFlow or something like
MoFlow,
that?
Flow.
MoFlow, and
Moflo,
then
Medusa, and oh gosh,
Mustache or something. I don't know, but there was two downhill trails that I built, and then there was another one that John, I think, was the trail guy there that built. But anyway, so it's cool because I learned more about sumps and pipes and stuff like that. So it's just showing a kind of a storyline here of how I learned to be the trail builder I am now, and I'm very thankful for the people that I've been learn from. And to be honest, Dave Huff, the guy I work with now, I mean, if it weren't for him, man, like he has taught me an amazing amount of stuff. Don't tell him that though, but because
Never.
I still tell
We'll
them I teach them
delete it right
everything.
out of the podcast.
Yeah.
No
I teach.
credit, no credit
Yeah.
at
It'll
all.
just be
dude.
one
Yeah.
long like explicit beep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, no, so it's been cool, man, and that's why like I thought this article I saw from Trailblazer magazine, which I don't want to I did contact them and make sure that they kind of knew that I wanted to talk about this, and I didn't want to like see if I didn't want them just to think that I was gonna like, oh man, that's our article, you know, and like I just want to mention Sean Benish is, I think how you pronounce it, is the editor of this one out of Portland, Oregon. So just to give them credit at Trailblazer magazine, I think they hit it on the mark, man. Like leading up to learning how to build sustainability trails, I'm still learning every day. Jump trails, you know, hand cut trails are my favorite. You don't get to really do those much, but um, one thing you don't hear in the same sentence a lot of times is fall line trail and making them sustainable. It's possible. It just takes a lot of work. I like fall line trails because they're the most fun and they change every year, but they're not sustainable, right? So that kind of segues into like why it's important for, you know, social media, you know, like what we're doing now and talking about it, you know, and like I think is an important role into it. And I think a lot of people that do well about it, I mean, you know, look at what, you know, Kramer and Thiel have done, you know, like Ryan Kramer, Stuart Thiel, look at Jared's Place. I mean, they do a great job of, you know,
So
promoting stuff
Ryan's
and whatever.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, Ryan, you know, those down home Atlanta guys or Southeast folks, Ryan Kramer, Stuart Thiel, they have been on the board at Roswell mountain biking, at Rambo essentially for Big Creek.
Rainbow.
Yep, Rambo. And so those two have done like absolute huge steps, dude. I was on the board for a little bit. I was the night ride coordinator. And so like I've been to like the Roswell courthouse, so that we can, you know, come and sit in like literal town meetings about, hey, what are we gonna do with this town space, right? And I think this is something that we chatted about. I'll just give a quick sidebar. It's like, you know, that a lot of constituents in Roswell really wanted to put like pickleball tennis courts like on that area where Rambo
Yeah,
is.
a lot of people
And
don't know that. Yeah,
as mountain bikers, like we had to come together. We had to have some show of representation here, like literally with the city of Roswell. And so if you think about that and you kind of extrapolate that to, you know, whether it's Portland, whether it's West Coast, California, whether it's Colorado, Utah, like Utah's pretty sick. They kind of let you do what you want to do. But to these places where you have some governing bodies, or where for instance, what Ethan said, like how you have sensitive land, right? There could be. I know there's a place in Tennessee. I think it's Raccoon Mountain, where they have like a endangered plant, and so they had to move the trail like in a specific way. And like how do we, one, get this out to people, so that they kind of know, hey, what we're doing, and that we're being responsible with this land. So that's just a little bit of backstory on. I think I totally sidebarred us, but that's a little
no,
backstory on
you're
I think
good,
what
man.
we're getting at. Yeah.
All right, quick break. Huge shout out to the sponsors that keep this podcast rolling. First up, we have CTS Media. If your business needs better content, a fresh website, or full service digital marketing, CTS Media has you covered. Photography, videography, social media management, social media creation, Google Ads, Meta Ads, everything your business needs to look legit online, because let's face it, if you're not doing these things, you're falling behind to your competitors in today's world. Check it out at ctsmedia.org, link in description below. Next up, we have Shred It, You're On. They solve the classic problem every rider has. Your action cam blocks your jersey. Their jerseys keep your kit visible on camera and look sick doing it. Grab one at shredyouron.com. Finally, we have Gutter Getters, your go-to for home maintenance. Whether it's gutter cleaning, roof care, pressure washing, small repairs, deck repairs, they handle it all. Hit the link or give them a call below. All right. Thank you guys. Back to the podcast.
yeah, no, I think that was great, man, and it shows like why social media is important. Like it got like not a lot of people knew that we were about to lose Big Creek, and
Yeah.
Big Creek, or Mansell Trails that they used to be called, you know, is where rode a lot and met a lot of people around the area that I rode with, and did a lot of riding there, and got the opportunity to build there too. I got to build Hawkeye in Hollywood, and
Yep.
I was very thankful for that. And but as I said, it wouldn't have happened without volunteer work. It wouldn't happen without everyone involved. Donating money, just getting the word out there. Like, how are you going to know where to donate? Like, that's one of the biggest things that I get asked. Like, just when I was Derek Fetko was my contact there when I was building in Kentucky. Like, a lot of people rolled up and they hadn't ridden there ever, or they were pushed away from a previous version of the trail. They're like, we don't have anything like this to ride, and we have to drive like 2 hours to go ride something like this,
Mhm.
and they're like, so where do I donate? Like, how do I do my part? And I was just given, like, Kimba is like the Sorba chapter or the Rambo here, like that's the Kentucky version
Yeah.
of it, and so it's just, that's why I think it's pretty important for social media to archive this stuff and then show the volunteer support and keep them understanding that they are supporting whichever way they can, whether it's donations or coming to a work party or just having a voice. And social media can have a bad version of it too. It's like, you can get your armchair warrior, keyboard warrior, whatever you want to call them, out there, and just kind of bad mouthing and like kind of being the bad apple, and that doesn't
Yeah.
help anything, and like we always need feedback and opinions, because that's like, I tell people, I was like, yeah, we need to make the client happy, the one that's cutting the check, but the main client is the rider group.
Sure. End
And
user.
it's
Yeah.
like, how do we make sure the rider, you know what I mean? The end user is the
Yeah.
client. So if we're not approaching them on like with social media and talking with them or having them come visit and giving feedback, then we're not doing our job. You know what I mean? And so, like, that's why it's important to me. And it shows, man, like, in this article, I think they hit it on a lot of really cool areas, and it showing like, showing the work, showing the people, showing the progress, letting them know where their money's going. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yep.
think that's a lot of big problems sometimes. Like, and it's tough, man. Like, as you guys know, you guys are both very good with a camera. And if you don't have like a professional photographer, sometimes you can't really show the work justice, because
Yeah.
it looks small on camera, but you get there and you're like, holy crap, they actually put a lot of work into this. This is where our money went, and so it's important, man. And it's like and it helps create relationships with land managers, like kind of what they did at Big Creek or and stuff like that. And if you have a good standing relationship with someone, like, I'm pretty sure there's other entities that land managers deal with that I think sometimes aren't as passionate or you know
Mhm.
wanting, to take care of a land than mountain bikers are. Like, and that segues
Yeah.
into like, those splits, the spot in Iowa. Like, when it's really sensitive area, you need to show them that you're actually taking into account that you give a crap about these. You want to involve the people that feel like we're going in and destroying the trails, when really, like, the argument is like, we're almost helping the ecosystem.
Yeah.
When we're doing our, we're clearing the underbrush, we're, just that's, or
And
picking out
clearing
dead trees,
underbrush
or
under one thing, like that could be fire hazard,
yeah,
right?
and, like, think about our trails being a fire break, you know what I mean? It can potentially be a fire break. We're also controlling, water and sediment from, and as long as we do it right and in a manner way that we are taught, and, like, we don't try to take trees, and the trees we're gonna take aren't gonna make it anyways, like, the tree cap is way over, and they're never gonna reach that, I mean, and it's like, then you gotta know the drip lines and, like, of the
Mhm.
trees, and, like, the different style of trees that you don't wanna scar up or hurt or build over the root balls, it actually gives them a little more protection, like, or we're putting rocks in between the roots so you're not, like, actually riding on them or whatever. I mean, there's so many different techniques to show land managers that we are actually here. Like, yeah, we might be taking a machine through the woods, but for the most part, man, like, most trail builders actually do give a crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're there to like be the Lorax of the woods. You know what I mean? Like, you want, like, that's what allows us to breathe. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you gotta scramble a little eggs to make an omelet. So it's like, to get people out in the woods, kind of like what happened during COVID. Like, people would go out to their garage, dust off their old Nishiki or Schwinn or
Mhm.
whatever, and they were like, oh, they'd get out in the woods like, oh man, I forgot what this was like, but this is definitely not the bike for it, and like then they go into the bike shops and they're like, oh, the bike shops kind of flourish a little bit, and like I
Yep.
hate for what COVID did to this world, but sometimes it also got people out in the woods, and I
Yeah.
think it also segues into like the article that Cason sent me where it's like I think 15 schools right now are offering like actual like degrees and all in like classes for trail building and how to maintain woods and stuff like that. I think it's very important for people to understand how to maintain woods because a healthy set of woods is good. If you just leave woods alone and you don't maintain them, it's not good. Like too much
Yeah.
underbrush or too much this. That's why they do controlled burns. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
is exactly why they do it. You know what I mean? And it helps get rid of the poisonous, like the molds and the beetles and stuff like that sometimes. Like that just destroy forests,
Yeah.
and so I think that's why it's really important to understand. And that's why I kind of built up where I started learning all this and started having more of passion for it and understanding. It's like just caring about the woods and understanding like that's why I like showing people on social media and stuff and doing posting up your work parties and stuff like that and getting people out in the woods and making them feel a part of it. Like I think that's a very big thing for someone to like come out for a work party and they're doing rock armor section or raking this berm or reshaping this or fixing this drain and then they go and ride it and they're like, I did this. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
You get a
Like
really good sense
having
of
the ownership.
accomplishment. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and ownership,
Exactly. Yeah. You
So
own.
it's
Yeah.
like
Absolutely.
so
So,
I think
and
it's very important.
one of the things that I thought about, it's like I think with a lot of land managers, whether they're private, whether it's the city, whether for folks that want to keep that area the way that it is, right? Like it's crazy that we live in a day where we actually have to think about this. And Big Creek is like a good example. Like if we want to keep this green space or this forest or this mountain the way that it is now, the trail, having trail, like, is actually the way to do it because your alternative is concrete, right? It is a building. It is flattened trees, right? And it's crazy to me that we live in a day, it's like, for folks that are land managers that are like, they're like, "I want to preserve this area." Everybody that's on a mountain bike, a dirt bike, that is out there doing outdoor stuff, even like hunting, right? Anybody that's doing outdoor stuff, we all want to preserve this space. We just also want to play in it, right? And
Yep.
so, like, compared to the alternative of a developer coming in and literally making a flat concrete pad, making a parking lot, making something else that is, think about that and how that changes the landscape there compared to, hey, we've got a jump trail. And it's crazy,
Yeah.
like when you if you like look at a lot of single track, especially old school single track, I think about like a lot of times, like if I'm flying somewhere or you're up in the air, you're looking maybe like mountaintop to mountaintop, what have you. I'm like, I know there's trail running through there. And like in my mind, I'm always like, there's got to be some kind of break in the tree, right? Like I got to be able to see that line. You don't see that line. Just like you were saying, like we're not moving trees. We're not here cutting stuff down for the most part. We don't want to. Every once in a while, yeah, you gotta break an egg to make an omelet. But for the most part, everything that we're doing as a community is there to preserve what's already there.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, Ross, because like it's pretty obvious that if there's land available, humans are going to use that land. So we have the option as a community, as people, as a society to decide how that land's used. And either you get a Holiday Inn or you get hiking trails, you get mountain bike trails, you get, dirt bike trails, whatever it is. And that's why it irritates me, not to bring up a whole nother can of worms, but that's why it
Let's
irritates me
open it.
when but that's why it irritates me, like when hikers and mountain bikers argue, or hikers get mad at mountain bikers, or mountain bikers get mad at hikers. It's like, guys, we're
Yep.
all using, like, we are very grateful that we have this, and we're all using it the same way. I just decide to go a little bit faster than you and have more fun than a hiker. Like, that is the difference. And So like we all need to like like seriously come together and to the aspect of social media that Ethan's saying, social media is for trail building in my opinion now is like the educational piece, right? Like the biggest the tool, the reason that tool is so good for trail building and mountain biking is the education, because I'm sure a lot of these land managers in suits and ties driving their Range Rover to the office don't care what a mountain biker has to say, because they think of mountain bikers as guys, you know, wearing flat bill hats and beanies and you know, drinking Coors Banquets all the time. Like that's what they think of us as. So, you know, now it's now like with the college courses and the school courses, now you're seeing that flip, right? Where these people that are in seats of power or that have a say in these spaces are
Hmm.
seeing that, hey, these guys are actually professionals. People like Ethan, people like Josh and Will, people that are building these trails are professionals at their craft, right? And they're not your mountain biker that or your snowboarder dude. Like these guys actually really care about the land. They know how to use the land and they know how to preserve the land. And so now it's actually being like shown that these aren't just some dudes that are, you know, having fun. It's not like your 17, 18-year olds that are, you know, building trails. Like these are professional human beings and they're experts at their craft. And that social media aspect to educate people on that aspect is so important now. And I'm so happy that we're now seeing it. And it's super important, like you're saying, if you are in that space, please use social media accordingly. You can throw big whips, you can do all of that, but it is also super important to show like the other aspect to it. And as like a videographer and as a photographer, it's on my list to actually do more, whether it's with the crew at Jared's, whether it's with you, Ethan, whether it's with Hayden Ketwich, to like I really want to do some kind of photography or videography series. It's like showing the work that goes into these things. I mean, Jared's of course would be the easiest for me, but people don't understand what goes into this stuff and the educational piece. It's not like you're not like trail. Like that's not how it works. You know that may like that's not how it works at all. And so
You got me on that one, bro.
trail. That's not how it
Trails.
works, dude. Like people don't understand it. From the naked eye, it may seem easy, but there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. I just went on a ramble, but I think it's important to say those things for sure.
I think you said it perfectly, man. And like, I think here on this article, it says it perfectly. Like, where social media is not the goal, it's the amplifier. And as long as you amplify it in the right way, like you're saying, and utilize it, it's giving back to the community too. It's like, you know, I was telling y'all the other day, like I fly all over the place, and a lot of times I'm in the airport getting some dinner, and just talking to people, you know, just regular airport talk, and they're like, "What do you do for work?" You know, and I was like, "Well, I build mountain bike trails for a living." And you're like, "What? Like you can make a living at that?" I was like, "Yeah, man, actually you can make a pretty decent living at it." And then we get to talking and they're like, I had no clue that that was that detailed into it. And I was like, yeah, man, it's like, it takes that to build a relationship with the client, build a relationship with the city to get the funding, you know, and stuff like that. And like they thought it was just they just walked around in the woods enough and there was a trail there. And I was like, well, we're not deer. We, you know, like we sometimes it's funny, like Dave and I always joke about it, but we'll be flagging trail and next thing you know, we're on a deer path. And it's just the deers follow the path of least resistance. And so it's just and it's also, man, like it's case in point, Ross. I think you've ridden it, the spot up in Dawsonville that we'd built, right? Um, it was an old lady that she had no one
Yeah.
to leave her land to or whatever, and she donated, I think it was 140 something acres or something like that to the city.
Yeah.
There, she's like, I don't want to see this developed, so do something with this. So they hired us to build trail in it, and I think we built like
Yep.
4.5 miles of trail in there. You know, and you're starting to see this like growth, like, you know, as much people can love or hate Bentonville, I think it shows that it can be done. It's a blueprint, and I think
Yeah.
you can see it. It's happening in Kentucky. I mean, we have 2 jobs up there that one we've gotten awarded, but it's going to be a huge job for the next couple of years coming. That's going to connect neighborhoods. Like think about it. You'll be able to ride out of your garage to your cul-de-sac and go ride 10 miles. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and then come back. Like, there is no more, if people want to talk about carbon emissions, driving to and from the trails, there's no more of that. You're the carbon emission.
Yep.
And it's just amazing that you can do that and it'll grow the sport so far. And as long as we keep utilizing the land to what you said, Cason, is like, as a society, it's our choice on how we use it. Do we want it to be, do we need more malls or do we need more outdoor stuff? And I believe wholeheartedly we need people need to touch grass.
Yes.
Touch grass, bro.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't, it's just, and it shows like, if you utilize and amplify the social media aspect in the right way, which it's hard, like Dave and I struggle with it too. Like you take a picture and you're like, man, it looks so much different in person. And, you want to upload it, keep people, stoked on it. But it's hard, man, because people look at it like, yeah, it looks great. And like we make the joke, like, yeah, just out here doing it for the gram, you know what I mean? Making it look nice, but I mean, it may look nice, but does it ride?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
yeah, you can make things look as nice as you want, but until you until it's proven, and it's insane. Like, I said something about, like there, like when I was talking about Kemba and stuff, they do a great job of it. And, like a land manager came from a nearby, property that has like 27,000 acres. And
Yeah.
they saw what we were doing there and they're like, holy crap. Yeah. Can you come check out our, this spot, and so I did. And then like, also what it shows is, man, like with social media, what happened is that place was barren, right? Barely saw anybody. And then it's like a little post here, a little post there. Next to like more and more people are coming out, checking it out, getting the stoke going. And then next thing you know, dude, like when we're pretty much almost done with the trail, it makes a big post and like, hey, grand reopening. Dude, I will tell you, there was probably that weekend, there was probably 200-300 people there
That's incredible.
for one trail.
That's nuts. That's awesome.
And that's the power of social media to show, people that that's where their money went, and then like showing the community, like talking with them, like, hey, what would you change about it? Like we, positive feedback, negative feedback, whatever. And like most of it was positive. And, the only other thing is like, I didn't get to test the last 2 jumps. They still worked. We were hitting it. But I think for the mass majority, I think maybe a few tweaks will make it better, But see, that's what I mean. That's what helps with social media. That's what helps being in front of the client, and like the end user is the client, right? So, and then like
And I think
it just makes
also,
riders notice, and it makes the community stronger.
yeah, and I think also it
Go ahead.
shows like um the money that goes, like the amount of money that it takes, because I think Ethan, you were kind of telling us like, there's they gotta fly you out, right? We've got room, we've got board for the guys and that are building the trail. We've got geological surveys, right? We've got so many things.
But to Ross's point, Cason, I think I think he hit it on the nail. The nail on the head is the fact, the underlying cost that it does take for like mobility, living, machines, fuel, grease, wood, like time, like weather plays into it, like there's so many variables that people don't necessarily think about sometimes that goes into it. I mean, just like with any construction job, I mean, they deal with the same stuff just on probably a bigger scale,
Yeah.
and so like, and it just shows like by posting, this stuff, and like the people are like, oh man, this went so quick or whatever, and this and that, and like, well, we're like, yeah, but we had good weather, we had this and this go on and stuff like that, and it's like, but we're also good at what we do, like there's, a saying, you pay me for my experience, not my time, and it's like I spent 16 years getting to that point, and like, Dave, the guy I work with, he's done it for 20, and then some, before that, so it's like it takes you a while to get there and having the know-how, and as I said, I'm still learning every day, and you also as a trailblazer need to understand like you don't know it all, like that's probably, I think, a lot of people struggle with. As soon as you think you know it all, you don't, because like if you don't have the humbleness to understand that, like to accept someone's feedback, whether it be positive or negative, or talk with other trail builders and understand like, hey, and talk in in a way of like, hey man, you know, this kind of feels like that, and I'm like, yeah, I was kind of feeling that too, and like, what do you think we do about it, instead of just like, no, like that you did that wrong, you know what I mean? It's like you try to stay away from that because you don't want negativity in trail building. It's an artwork, like as soon as you bring that in, it doesn't help. So, and what I mean by all that is to, what Ross is saying is like all the money that inquire into it. And this article hits it on point. It's like, what will riders notice because of this work? Whether it be the social media work that you put into it, the hiring of, photographer, like you said, Cason, that you want to do to come out and do this like series on this stuff to really, show the world what we actually do. Because, most of the time, as I said, in the airports, they have no freaking clue, but like, and the behind the scenes is really the big deal. Like what you said, Ross, is that, like people don't know the struggles and the trials and tribulations that trailblazers go through sometimes, just to get a trail in there. And a lot of times I'm like, man, all of this just so someone can ride their bike out in the woods. But then you got to remember, like,
Yes.
that's exactly why you do it. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like, it's to get people out in the woods, man. Like, as technology has become more prevalent in this world, I believe that people are starting to lose connection. What we really need to connect with is nature. As hippie as that can sound, I
There.
think we've lost that.
Yeah, I'm with
You know
you.
what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Ethan, man, thank you so much, dude. Every every time we either get together in person or we do things like this, or you or I give each other a call, it I think a part of my heart just always kind of like is filled back up a little bit.
Definitely, man.
So
Ditto.
yeah, right. I really appreciate it, dude. Oh my God.
What the,
No.
what the, dude,
No,
what the
Oh,
heck was
no.
that?
All right.
no.
Hey, someone kick
What
his ass out of here.
just AI, bro? Oh my
Oh my
God.
Uh, we were
No.
on the limit and you just jumped over it.
What
He
in the
found
world?
the rev limiter and that threw a
Oh
rod.
my Lord.
I did not
Um,
know that was possible.
oh, yeah.
Oh
And he wants to
man.
say that he hit the wrong button. He's been saving that one. You know what I mean?
But I will tell you, man, yeah, a part of my heart gets just absolutely filled back up. So,
Same, man.
it's so good. We've gotta get up and connect over the holidays for sure. I miss you too much, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same, dude.
I guess what you got if people want to follow what the Quail Man's up to. It's funny because we just got talking about stewardship. I know you probably don't post like a whole ton on social media, but if people are looking to follow you or to be able to get in contact and talk about trail building, how can they do that?
Yeah, man. To your point, yeah, stewardship. I try to do it in person as best I can. Like that's where I like personal communication face to face. Like the texting thing can be lost in so many different ways. Punctuation and all that stuff. Um, but yeah, to be able to contact us, our company that Dave owns is Innovative Dirt Solutions (IDS). Facebook, Instagram. I'm pretty sure that we're developing a web page now. But my personal handle is Quellman1 on Instagram, or find me
QUEHL.
QUEHLMAN1. It's kind of a play off of the old cartoon Doug. The Quail Man.
Quail Man.
So
Damn it,
yeah,
Quail.
but I know. Yeah, well, yeah.
There's that.
But yeah, no, and like I'm honored to have to be on this channel with you guys. I really love what you guys are doing. And I'd love to continue to help however we can. It'd be great if you want to have us in your series whenever you can, figure it out. Cason, that'd be great. I think we'd be a
I'd love
perfect
to, man.
example.
If there's a project that we can nail down that I can spend a few days with you guys, I think that would be sick.
I think
Yeah.
it'd be beneficial both ways. I mean, we try to stay small. We try to like let our work speak for itself. But that segues kind of into what we're talking about today. As like, I think technology is inevitable and it needs to be utilized and amplified in the best way possible. So, and I think that was pretty much the message I think we got through today.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
man.
Yeah, and I really want to preface like through this with the cycling community and where trail building is going. Like I want everybody to remember that everything is super positive right now and like you've seen a very big upward growth. So I don't want everybody to think that like things are bad. Like trail building and new trails and trail progression has been unbelievably skyrocketing lately. So things have been going really well. We just need to continue what we've been doing. I mean, 5 years ago, we had 0 lift access bike parks or shuttle bike parks in the Southeast. And now we are like one of the most saturated as far as bike parks goes.
Popping
So
up.
that's insane. I mean, it's a great time to be a mountain biker, and it's a great time to be an outdoor enthusiast because things are going well, and people like us love to fight for that. And as long as we continue, it'll keep going up. And social media is a great way to continue that cycle.
Yeah. I want to
Yeah.
give us a plug too. Thanks. Speaking of social media, positivity, all that stuff. Thank you for everybody that's listening, one, and watching, two. On that note, because of social media being the amplifier, if you guys listen to us on the podcast channel, if you guys are seeing the Instagram clips, please, please, please jump over to YouTube, give us a follow, give us a subscribe on that YouTube. Because our goal right now is to get to 1,000 followers. We'd be able to do that. Then it opens up some channels for us to be able to do some other things as well. So one, shout out to everybody that's listening to us for an hour and a half, because you guys are rad. I should probably put this at the beginning instead of the end, but hey, it is what it is.
Hey, shout out to the
And
people that are still here listening right now.
right. Yeah, get on there, get your friends to click on through that subscribe, because as every other YouTube channel will tell you, it does make a difference. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys.
Yeah, man. All right. Thanks for listening to Riding the Line. We'll see you next week, guys.
Later.
Huge shout out to the sponsors that keep this podcast rolling. First up, we have CTS Media. If your business needs better content, a fresh website, or full service digital marketing, CTS Media has you covered. Photography, videography, social media management, social media creation, Google Ads, Meta Ads, everything your business needs to look legit online, because let's face it, if you're not doing these things, you're falling behind to your competitors in today's world. Check it out at ctsmedia.org, link in description below. Next up, we have Shred It, You're On. They solve the classic problem every rider has. Your action cam blocks your jersey. Their jerseys keep your kit visible on camera and look sick doing it. Grab one at shredityourOn.com. Finally, we have Gutter Getters, your go-to for home maintenance. Whether it's gutter cleaning, roof care, pressure washing, small repairs, deck repairs, they handle it all. Hit the link or give them a call below.